All right.
Okay. Hello there, Mohammed. Hello, Emma. How are you both? Hello, Emma. You okay?
Hello.
Hello,
Hi,
Mohammed.
hello, how are you, Jessifer? How are you, Emma?
Good. Yes, yes. Very, very good to hear you, Mohammed. Very good to see you, Emma. Mohammed, we can't see you yet. Is your camera
Yeah,
working?
yes, it's working, but I'm turning it off because it's dark here. I don't have a light right now, so it's dark.
It's dark, is it?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it would be good to see you, but yeah, we can hear you at least. Yeah, we can hear you. So that was Chris I was just talking to. He's trying to log on to the call, and he's trying to log on to the call, and he said that he can't access it for some reason. So I'm just waiting for him to send me a message on, with his new email address, but I'm just waiting for that. So yeah, just to let you know that he is trying, but he can't get into it. Hello, Yazan, how are you? Hello, Yazan, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. It's dark where you are as well.
Hi, Emma. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
dark.
it's dark where you are. Yeah, it's all dark
Yeah,
behind you.
I can turn the lights on. Let
No,
me.
that's fine. That's fine. It's not a problem. At
I
least
have my light here.
okay.
I
Yes.
prefer it.
Yeah, no, because Mohammed is saying that it's dark where he is. So yeah. How is everything?
Yeah, everything is great. We've missed you all. So I've been working on my Phoenix Rising project under the name of Gaza Phoenix, and yeah, it's like starting to see the light. Like in a few weeks, you can say. Yeah, it's going well until now.
Good. So how has it developed? Can you tell us, what changes there've been over the last month?
Okay, cool. So basically, the Phoenix Rising project is not like specialized in one particular thing. It's all about creativity. It's all about sharing ideas and community building. So this, like the idea of Phoenix Rising is the biggest idea, or the big idea. Under that idea, we have some, like we can say, concepts. One of these concepts, which is Gaza Phoenix, which I started. It all started when I met Danny here in in these sessions. So she captivated me, and she like influenced in me, and she has her own company called Flaming Leadership, and she's like talented, and she's experienced in leadership, presentation skills, and they offer these skills and these trainings. So uh, like I felt like passion for giving such thing like this for my community, or for the youth in Gaza. And me, like in my opinion, I or it's my, we can say, responsibility to just do collaboration with her. So I talked to her, and we emailed each other, and we collaborated, and now I'm working on my own thing, and she has worked on her own thing, her team, and they gave me like a file. They are ready for giving that training. So basically they will have the first phase of that training. So they organized the training between themselves. So Danny and her team, two of her team, and me and my team, we are organizing the whole thing. And the second phase will be particularly about Palestine, about the Palestinian propaganda, and the Israeli propaganda, and how to deal with it, and how to be a good debater, and how to be a good speaker. So we connected with local trainers for the second phase, and so that training will be two phases. The first was with Danny, and the second for me and my team. And it's like the whole thing will be um, something, we can say, powerful. And after this, they will have, or including this, like during this training, they will have their own platform or on Instagram. And they will publish whatever outcomes from writing, from videos, from anything they get out of it. So it will be their chance to just build another community, and to just express their feelings.
That sounds wonderful. When will this all start? I know it's already started, but the actual live trainings, when will they start?
Okay, so actually we have like a timeline. We're working on it. So from now until 5th of March, we are just working on the Instagram page, and from that Instagram page, we will we can say we will get the trainees from the Instagram. We will publish a link to register, and we will just filter the applications, and we will contact them before 5th of March. So from 5th of March till 5th of April, that will be the first phase, which is the training of leadership and writing and presentation, and what else you can say? Yeah, and writing. That's it. After this month, we will be continuing with the next phase.
That sounds great. Does anybody have any questions about that? Hi, Chris. We can't see you anymore, Chris. And it's
Yeah,
cracking.
I've got to. We've had the electrician in, and I'm having problems with my. He unplugged the computer, so I have to set it up again. So That's what I'm listening to you, but I'm not. I'm fiddling around.
Okay. Yeah. If you could just put your thing onto mute then, until you're ready to talk, then, Chris, because it's crackling.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. Wonderful. So Emma, go ahead.
Yeah, so that sounds great. So with the Instagram, is it you're gonna be like using it as a way to build your community, a community in Gaza, or is it going to be to raise for outsiders to also gain knowledge of what's going on as well, or is it specifically about leadership?
Okay, so I think I did not get the point particularly, but we can say it's a virtual community. Like for me, I'm Palestinian, but I'm here in Egypt. So it's basically to connect Palestinians from Gaza or whatever they are in this world, and just to train them to be like, to know how to express their feelings, because they have faced a lot during the past 1.5 years. So this training basically will target the talented ones and the ones with good English skills, so we can train them how to speak, how to talk in front of the camera, how to write, because they have a lot of feelings inside their heads they cannot express to people. So we try to just give them the chance to write, to train how to write or how to speak or how to express their feelings, whatever the way was. So expressing our feelings, it has various ways. So we selected like some particular ways we think it's the better ways to reach to the world. So after this phase, so now they have the skill, and they have the power, and they have the personality. So after this, they can go for themselves. They will have their own platforms. They can build their own communities, but still we will have our own community as we are building like this. We are having our community. They will have their own community with us, like the trainers, with the mentors and the trainees. And after this, we will be like throughout our Instagram account, we will connect with the other world. So connecting
Yeah.
the trainers with the world through their outcomes.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's absolutely brilliant. Brilliant. Yeah, that is really good. And Instagram has so much power. So social media has so much power of building good, communities as well. So yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, we're starting on Instagram, as well as we will have a Facebook and LinkedIn, because we are starting with these students that have we can say the starting point of these skills, and we will train them, and we will support their own career life. So we will support them in connecting with platforms to write, like as a business or as a job, and we will connect them to just or to help them in any way we could. And after this, I'm planning to just transfer all this and to make a website specialized for Gaza Phoenix, as this website will be specialized in the literature, and to give them the chance to write and to be like a popular or a famous platform to write, and to just like connect writers from everywhere in this world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's-
fantastic.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, Mohammed,
Yeah.
so what's new for you over the last month? You know, like, what's kind of, yeah, where are you? What are you doing? What, you know, how are the people around you adapting to the changes in the political environment?
Okay, so firstly, I'm really greeting all of you here again after 1 month, and very proud of my cousin Yazan. His great work. Seriously, I'm very proud of him. A lot of hard work in very short time, and he give us this great results. So all the best luck for you, Yazan. Inshallah, بالتوفيق حبيبي. So after the ceasefire, we are still in Deir al-Balah, as our apartment, the old one or the first one in Gaza, is partly damaged. We cleaned it or tried to find some room, one or two, to stay there, but it's early to decide, as there is no, of course, electricity, there is no water. And right now it looks like the war will come back again. So we are scared actually to back to Gaza or stay in Deir al-Balah. We are not sure. We don't know actually what should our next step will be. There is many people going back to their homes or to their destroyed homes in Gaza in the north, but after a while they back to the middle or to the south of Gaza Strip, as there is no life in the north of Gaza, no at least water. And this is the most important thing. They cannot find water, so they have to back to the south. And again, after the war will come back again. So people like me don't know what they should do in their next move. Stay in Deir al-Balah in the middle of Gaza Strip, or back to our home in the north. We cannot decide until now. Unfortunately, Israel not commit with the agreement. So there is many, like all the equipment that we need to try to fix the situation, try to fix the streets, the life. We cannot have it, so the life is still as it's during the war. So this will make the people more suffer in this bad situation. And this is, if I can say, it's another war. So the war with killing and bombing the people is finished, but there is another kind of war, and also there is a third war. It's the economic war. So yes, there is ceasefire, but there is another wars. There is another crush on the people in Gaza. So the situation is good and bad in the same time.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you, Mohammed. Anamika, welcome to the call. It's good to see you again. Are you okay, Anamika? Sorry, you're on mute. You're on mute. Yeah. Did you have a chance to hear what Mohammed was just saying?
Yes, I heard a big part of it, I think. Yes. Hi, everyone.
Okay. All right. Emma, do you have a question for Mohammed?
Yeah, it sounds awful. What's the food situation like? And another thing I was wondering, because like I was eating some dates the day, and they were from your area. So are your area exporting goods even if people are hungry in that area in Gaza?
So until now, the food is kind of better than before, but the main problem that we are facing is the water. We need, yes, we need the food, but we need water more than the food. The water is more important than the food, because by water we can make our own food. We can grow some plants like tomato, some food. Yes. So the most important is the food. Sorry, the water, as it's like the key of the life, if I can say. We need an equipment to help us to to like, if I can say in English, to remove the damaged home, that for example covering the areas, closing the ways. There is bodies inside these damaged homes. We need to take these bodies and respectfully bury them. So there is a huge work. We need to start it now, but until now, unfortunately, the Israel is controlling the everything coming inside Gaza, and they simply not allowing for anything to come until just a small trucks of food. It's like telling the people, yes, we are letting the food to people to eat, but the other thing is not actually allowed.
Yeah.
And now again, it's this question of like whether to go back to the homes that have been demolished, or whether to try and move forward to a different place. You know, that's the hardest question, isn't it? You know, that people will probably be worrying about which way to go back or go
Yeah,
forward.
like sorry. So yes, yeah, like for example, in the first week or second week of the ceasefires, me and my parents, my sister, went to our home walking. It's like more than 7 kilometers walking, just to meet our relatives and friends in Gaza, to take a look about the city, our apartment, to see the situation there. More than more than 1 year, and we didn't see them. We didn't see the city. We missed everything there. So we decided to go walking this very long road. It's tired, but we did it, and we tried to see if we can stay in Gaza, but unfortunately the situation there is dark. Um, there is no alive there. There is nothing can help us to stay there, and that's why until now we cannot decide if we will stay in Deir al-Balah or back to Gaza. It's very hard to live there until now, unfortunately.
Yes, that's understandable. Anamika, could you please mute your microphone, because there's a lot of interference as you're walking? Okay, great, thank you. So, Emma, do you have any comments on what Mohammed just said?
Well, it sounds awful, really, and I mean, the mainstream media are not really reporting the extent of the water and the electricity issue. I mean, our mainstream media is reporting that Israel are releasing hostages, Gaza is, and there might be some, you know, that some sort of not collaboration at all, really, but they're sort of not really saying all of this. So
And
it's so it just sounds horrible.
because
Yeah,
when sorry for
and it-
talking over you, Emma.
and it is really powerful, you know, just hearing, you know, hearing you say tell your story. So yeah, thanks for that. Yeah.
Okay, so all right, Chris, you're back. You're back on your computer. That's so much better. So Chris, Mohammed was just talking about the situation where he is, where, you know, there's very little water, and Emma was just saying that we don't really hear about things like that on the media, about, you know, the shortage of water, the shortage of electricity. We don't, you know, but that's kind of, we've been talking about that for quite a while, haven't we? That the media isn't really reporting what is actually going on, right? Chris, do you have any comments on that?
Well, only that that Hamas is saying that that the Israelis aren't allowing in supplies into Gaza. Israelis are denying that, but I would think that they are not allowing supplies in, and it's but because they don't have journalists on the ground, it's difficult to know just exactly what's happening. But now that Trump is intervening, I don't think he's a friend of the Palestinians or Gaza. So I think things are going to be quite tough for the citizens there for quite a long time. So it's just another means of warfare, isn't it? Starvation, rather than just directly attacking people.
Yes, and I suppose it's a different kind of colonization, isn't it? You know, so you know, if we're talking about the USA colonizing Gaza, that's you know, it's like, I mean, would that ever be acceptable, Mohammed, to be colonized by the USA so overtly?
Could you please repeat the question again? I didn't get it again.
Yeah, because, you know, Trump is basically boasting arrogantly about the fact that the USA will take over Gaza and make it into a Riviera for the rich people, develop it, you know, so that it becomes like a very luxurious place to live. But what I'm saying is that that's another colonization, isn't it? You know, so it's like being so Gaza wouldn't be an independent state anymore. It would be a colony of the US if it was taken over like that, wouldn't it?
I think this is the plan, or like, this is what actually America did and doing and will do. If it's Trump or before him Biden or Obama or anyone, it's like it's the same. But the difference is, like, Biden, he didn't say this, but he did this an action. But Trump, he's saying this and doing it an action. So it's the same, but a different way of doing it. But in the end, like in the war, Biden give Benjamin Netanyahu give the Israeli army thousands of weapons, rockets, just to kill the people in Gaza. So this make him the same as Trump. That he's Trump who's trying now to make us leave Gaza and to make his own dreams on Gaza. America will stay America as it's before, as it's in the future. So it's not something new of America. Just the only thing new is the way of the war, or like the words he choose to say it. But in the end, the action is the same.
Yes, I agree with you, Mohammed. And there was a report on the news. They were interviewing somebody in Gaza, and not into, you know, like just one of those 30-second interviews. And the person from Gaza, he said, Trump is living in the Middle Ages. He thinks that, you know, it's the same situation like when they just got rid of the local people in the US. You know, they just kind of like moved them on, you know, burnt their villages, burnt their homes. They, you know, they think that, you know, what they did 500 years ago to the indigenous people of the US, they can do the same thing again and again, you know. So I thought that was a very interesting comment, and it's that comment resonated with me, because that's the thing about these genocides, is that, you know, unfortunately, it isn't just in the Middle Ages. They've been continuing, you know, in different places in the world. People have been expelled from their land and moved on, whatever. So, you know, it seems to be more of a like a human, you know, a human kind of the shadow side of human beings, that they think that they can do that to people, and they continue to do that.
Actually, it didn't work with us 75 years ago, and 100 years ago, when Arthur Balfour decided to give the Palestinian land to the Zionist bloody people. They they couldn't until now, and until this very long years, they couldn't to take us out of our country, Palestine. They couldn't to make us forget our rights, our fighting to freedom. So how much he can Trump or his friends or his people say dream planning is, I'm sorry for saying this word, but it's bullshit. We will stay in Palestine, inshallah.
Yes, and then there's that kind of, you know, again, there's that thing about survival. You know, how do we survive? Do we survive by moving, or do we survive by staying put? You know, because overall, the most important thing is to survive, you know. And so, yeah, does anybody else have any comments about that?
Well, I think it's American state of mind. They don't regard themselves as a colonial power. They think that they don't understand why the whole world doesn't embrace American culture, you know, that, and they feel that everyone should be drinking Coca-Cola and going to McDonald's, and they're just they can't understand it why everyone isn't a little America. It's their they've no. I'm not talking about all Americans, but I'm talking about the Republican right-wing clique that they just think the American way of life is for everybody, and they don't understand why there's any resistance to it. And the way that Trump is talking, it seems as though he's going to turn Gaza into a holidaymaker's paradise with casinos and hotels and restaurants and sunshine, and that's Britain, Russia, and Europe. They're the colonists, but not America.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Yasin, you had something to say about this.
Yeah, okay. So the declarations of Trump, like the past weeks, of course, they are so awful, and they're not acceptable at all. Why? Because like it's a declaration to give what and to whom, and who's the giving, who's the giver. You're trying to give Gaza to the Israelis, and you don't own it. Like, you don't own Gaza, and you want to buy Gaza, and it's not for sale, because we own Gaza. The Palestinians, they own Gaza since their beginnings, since like hundreds of years ago, and it's our land. So how come you want to just take this land and to buy it and to make it like hotels and whatever? Actually, Gaza is like, it's so tiny, it's 360 kilometers. So you have all the land of the United States and all these states. You have Florida, you have Miami, you have whatever coast, you have California, and you're coming to fight us, the 2 million people that have been suffering since more than 100 years they are suffering, and now you want to steal the land from them. Like how come he thinks like the power that his country has, or the power or the money he has, like he thinks that acceptable to just steal that land from their people. So I think that's like just he's just crazy. And as Muhammad mentioned, like before, more than 100 years ago, it was the Declaration of Balfour. So he promised the Zionists or the Jews to give them the land of Palestine. So we're back to the same point. It's the promising of it's he's not the owner, and he's giving it to the one who doesn't deserve. So the same thing works on Donald Trump. So he doesn't have to do anything with the Palestinians. He just like go away and leave the Palestinians live alone, because they are suffering now. We can say also the only the 100 years. Now they are suffering from another thing. Like beside their own suffering, they have new sufferings. So if you care a lot about Israel and the Zionists, why don't you like get them to the United States? You can take them. Why you are fighting us in this tiny like piece of land? It's ours. So we are the people who can decide what to do in this land. And of course, yeah, we can survive. Like for me, I survived the war, and Muhammad maybe survived the war, and the people who stayed in the north also, some of them survived the war. But of course, we will never forget. And as they have, this war made us remember what has the Israelis did to us, like all over the 100 years. Now we remember it more, and they just like put hateness and anger like in the middle of our hearts towards them by these things they have done to the Palestinians. And I want to mention like another thing, like it's like what Emma has said about the media. So unfortunately, the Western media is like focusing on some cliche things, you can say, because the hostages, as they say in Gaza, they are like they take all the news and they fill the screens of the channels. But on the other hand, we have hundreds of hostages, Palestinian hostages, every year, not like for once. And most of them are they are females, they are old men, and they are children, and they are facing discrimination inside the prison, and they're facing the worst things, and starvation, and the bad conditions all over these years. And now Gaza only has, maybe you can say, 100 or so on hostages. Okay, so basically, why did Hamas did this? Of course, like we don't like accept taking civilians or so on, but most of them are not civilians. That's the first point. The second point is because Hamas wanted to get the hostages, the Palestinian hostages in the Israeli prisons, to get them out. So during this war, while Israel was trying to take out or to take their hostages, they have arrested more than 1,000 Palestinians, and they have done the worst things to them. And regarding the Western media, they are focusing on these hostages, and they are ignoring the 2 million people that have been facing the worst conditions ever, just to get these hostages out. For these hostages, more than 50,000 Palestinian was killed. You know, like logic. Where's the logic? We don't have logic here. Like to get 100 hostages, you kill more than 50,000. How come this can like be a logic? And at the same point, we have more than 100,000 Palestinian evacuating, or we can say immigrants to other countries. And we have displacement. We have like we can say more than 80% of people inside Gaza, they have lost their homes. And as Muhammad is still inside Gaza, he used to have two homes, like a home and apartment, and they're not like they're not livable. He can't live inside these houses. So after they have or the Israeli soldiers get out Gaza, the war is like continuing. The only thing has stopped is killing civilians. Actually, it did not stop like completely, because they are breaking the agreement, and they're killing like one or two every day. But like it's not, we cannot compare it to the amount of killing before that agreement. But still, it's breaking that agreement. And the most important thing that that's like a break of that agreement is like refusing, or we can say not allowing the supplies and food to enter Gaza, and that was part of the agreement. So the Western media should have focused more on that thing, because it's more important. You are sieging, or you are implementing blockade on the people of Gaza after they have already survived dying, and now you are you want to make them suffer again and again and again, and they just want to build their life again, and want to just live their life, and you're not allowing them. It's the responsibility of Israel and America. So all of them are part of that crime.
Yeah. Anybody got any comments on that? Mohammed,
No,
sorry, Chris.
definitely agree with you when you say there's no rationale for it. You know, if you're going to attack Hamas, then attacking the ordinary people of Gaza. It's just that, as you say, it's just sheer genocide that you identify the people with that terrorist group. So it's and Trump seems to be of that same mentality. The ceasefire was from the Biden group, but not and the Israelis don't want to abide by it, and Trump is going to back them up. I know that Trump likes to talk like a fat man down at the public house, but he is at the moment he seems to follow through on what he's saying, and he's no longer just spouting stuff and not following through. He seems to be intent on changing things very quickly and causing a disaster, and as far as American foreign policy goes, shooting himself in the foot, because he's got the whole world against him now, and he's strengthened his enemies, the Russians and the Chinese, who are now going to move into the Middle East on the side of the Palestinians, so and against Israel and the US.
I haven't heard that news, Chris. Is that recent news?
Well, I was following a discussion last night on a British Newsnight, British news program, and one of the correspondents said that will happen, that it will strengthen China and Russia in their presence in the Middle East.
No, I didn't watch that Newsnight program. So, anybody else got a comment? Annemiek, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I just have I don't have so much a comment, but just a lot of questions. I mean, what is, as Yassan said, there is no logic in any of these actions, or at least I don't see the logic, or can't find the logic. So there, for me, there's like the big question, why are they so determined to eradicate all Palestinian people in this area? Is it about, it's probably about power and about money somehow, but what in what way are a few million people in a small area, in what way are they standing in the way? I mean, like something like that. That's the question that comes up for me. And because as you say, there is, if you look at it from a purely rational point of view, it doesn't make any sense. So that means there's a lot of information that we are not aware of, that we don't know. And with we, I mean the whole world, probably, except maybe some very powerful people or something. I don't know. A lot of questions.
Yasin, any comments on that?
Okay. So, actually, thank you. These questions, we all have the same questions. Because,
Sorry,
like,
Anna, if you
you know,
could put you on mute again. Yeah, thank you.
okay.
Yeah, great.
So, us, the Palestinian people, we have the self-determination. It's like our right. So how come, like, an American man, he wants to do the decision on behalf of us or anyone else? Like, how come? It's like the same question. And the Israelis, they have kicked all the Palestinians, not all of them, but like the people in Gaza Strip, they used to be refugees before that war. So you are facing the refugees again. Like, for example, my grandmom, she evacuated her homeland inside Palestine itself, in a village called Yibna. Now, Yibna is an Israeli settlement, we can say, and they have built on that ground a lot of factories and whatever they have built. And my grandma has evacuated with her family to Gaza. So she grew up and she had children, and then they had us, me and Muhammad. And after this, we have faced the same displacement after maybe 75 years again. So you are killing the people themselves more than once, and you are killing them, and they're still alive. So what do you need from us? Like, you have already made us refugees. We are refugees from 75 years ago. Now I'm refugee for the second time. So I don't know what the Americans or what the U.S. government or the Israeli government wants from Palestinians or wants from Gaza itself, because like you have left the only piece of land that we can live inside it. Like, of course, we want to return to the village Yibna, as I mentioned, but you're not allowing us to live inside Gaza, which we have evacuated to it. Of course, we love Gaza, we love Yibna, and we love the whole Palestine, as we say, from the river to the sea. And we're not, we don't forget. And of course, we can't forgive also. We can't forgive anyone who has participated in this genocide or in this ongoing war since more than 100 years.
Go ahead, Anna.
Yeah, I read somewhere that Israel wanted to extend the Suez Canal. You know, am I pronouncing that right? The Suez Canal, which transports a lot of goods, a lot of goods on boats, and if they were going to extend that, it would go straight through Gaza. Has anyone else heard that at all?
Okay, so about this, the Suez Canal, it's in Egypt, and as this canal was built like maybe more than 100 years ago, and it's like made the way easier for the ships and for the like we can say anything in the sea, like from going from the ocean to the other ocean, and it's like near Sinai. so the desert of Sinai, it's in Egypt, and the Israelis or the Zionists believe that Sinai belong to them, and they have occupied it, and the Egyptian army freed Sinai, and now it's it's an Egyptian land. So the Zionists are still they have their own plans. They have their you can say stealing plans, because he's a Zionist, and he wants to colonize more and more. That's how he live. Once they have colonized Palestine or stole it, they wanted more. At first, they come as refugees in Palestine. They presented themselves as poor people, and they have faced Holocaust and so on. So at first, people in Palestine welcomed them, and they were in small groups, and they got everything they want. They were like workers inside Palestine. Now when you are living in the UK and or anywhere in the world, you have workers from India, for example, or from other countries. So that was the same thing. They came to Palestine to just work inside the farms and under the Palestinian people. And after this, they have starting growing and coming more and more to Palestine until the declaration of Balfour has came, and they have created small armies, and of course the government of Great Britain supported them at first, and now America is doing that job and continuing supporting them. So they came as refugees to us, and Palestinian people welcomed them, and now they have we can say not now. At first, after they have came, they have built their armies, and they fight Palestinians, and they did awful massacres along the ages until they have we can say built their country called Israel in 1948. Before that, it was Palestine. Like we all used to know Palestine, and they have their passports as they are workers in Palestine. Okay, so after this, they have their own belief that their promised land, as they mention, they take it like as in their religion. Actually, it's not true. Their promised land is from Sinai in Egypt, and it includes all of Palestine, and includes parts of Jordan and all Lebanon and parts of Iraq and parts of Saudi Arabia. So they have their own beliefs that the Arab people are terrorists, and they deserve to die, and that Zionists or Jews, they are the people of God, and they have the right to kill Arabs. So they do not hate Palestinians; they hate all Arabs. So in their protests, in the streets, they call death to Arabs. They want all the Arabs to die. So they present themselves as a democracy country, but of course that's false. They are, as Muhammad mentioned, they are bloody people. They are thirsty for blood and for colonizing more and more. So they are not. Palestine is not enough for them. They want more, and they want to steal other countries.
So the Suez Canal is worth a lot of money with the goods and all of that. Does Egypt own all of the route, or does Israel own part of the route?
Okay, so that's an old new problem, because the canal or the Suez Canal, it was built in the land of Egypt, but that was in the ages of the British colonizing. And after this, the Egyptian president at that time, called Jamal Abdel Nasser, was like for Britain, because Britain was colonizing Egypt. So it is the government Egypt. So after this, it was like an Egyptian government, and it has the president of Egypt Jamal Abdel Nasser, and he transferred the Suez Canal to be owned to the land of Egypt. So after this, like as a result, it became a great war. Like France and Britain and Israel, they are fighting against Egypt, and it was like in the 1967. It was a great war because the ownership of the canal, it's transferred from Britain to Egypt, and it's it's the most important canal in this world because it's so important for every country, and a lot of ships enter this canal. So it's a long story, and it caused a lot of damages and loss of souls and loss of money and everything.
That's right. Yeah, go ahead, Chris. Chris, you're on mute. You're on mute, Chris. Yeah.
Yeah, the canal was built because it shortens the route from Europe to the Far East. It was built by the French, and then the British bought it, and then Nasser nationalized it, and it was the last colonial war of the British, who had a secret agreement with the Israelis that the Israelis would invade Egypt. And the Americans, under Eisenhower, got wind of this and were not happy because they wanted to have good relations with Egypt. So they humiliated Britain and Israel and stopped the invasion. And it's been in the hands of Egypt ever since. So it is, as you say, it's a vital route because it means that the ships don't have to go all the way around South Africa, and they can have a quick entry into India and Far Eastern countries.
In response to Anna Meekan's question earlier, like, it isn't logical. Yes, it isn't logical. It seems very irrational. And it's because when we believe that we are the chosen people, when we believe that God has promised us, like this whole kind of territory, and anyone who God has not chosen, it's the right thing to do is to get rid of them, because that's what it says in the Old Testament, to get rid of them. So when you look at it from that perspective, that, even Trump believes that God saved him when there was that assassination attempt, God saved him to make America great again. They are fueled by the belief that God is on their side and God is telling them to do this because they are the chosen people. Trump believes he's the chosen person for representing the Christians, and the Zionists believe they're the chosen people representing the Jews. So then it makes sense, then, like, it's not like a logical kind of sense, but it's the kind of sense based on the beliefs that people hold at the core of their being. So when you look at it from that perspective, can you see that they don't see that they're doing anything wrong?
Yeah, I know what you mean, and I can, maybe I'm going to say something really annoying for a lot of people, but I think that's just a way to sell it to the people. I mean, if those belief systems indeed make people believe that they're doing the right thing, but to me it seems that there's much more behind it than that in reality. I mean, because as you say, each part of every different religion, each part of the world has his beliefs, and they think they're right somehow, especially people who are more fanatic or extreme in their religion, and they justify what they are doing. But in this case, there are different parts of the world, powerful nations that are supporting this genocide somehow. I mean, like, Americans are supporting Israelis to do this, and not only Americans. I think there are much more, well, a whole part of the world is somehow taking part in this war and in this genocide. And I don't think it's about religion. I think that's just a way to sell it as a way of speaking, if you know what I mean. There is, to me, there's something more behind that than just religion, because you already have more than one religion involved. If you look at Trump, for example, and Israeli people, they're two different religions. It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
For example, I mean, that's just the facade. That's just a way to have people fight for you.
That's right. And I have to add that there are so many parts of the world that are supporting the Palestinians, but not in action, but in words. Like, I'd say South America, Brazil is supporting the Palestinians, South Africa, other countries in where they can understand what's going on, they're supporting Palestine. So it's not about the quantity, in terms of numbers. I'd say that Palestinians probably have the majority of the world supporting, but that is not, it's not being followed up through real action, which is restrained through economic and economic priorities, I suppose.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I think it's got to make a distinction between religion and ideology, because the Israelis have this promised land belief that stems back to the time when they're all slaves in Egypt and were wandering around the desert, then went into Palestine and said, "Oh, it's God has promised us this land," and booted out whoever was there originally. Trump, the Americans' ideology is democracy and equality, individualism, and because the Israelis always say, "Oh, we're a democracy, we're the only democracy in the Middle East, so whatever we do is right," and they and when they come on TV, they always say, "No, it can't be true that we're killing people because we're a democracy," and and it's always this superiority justification. It went before the British when we were colonizing lands because we were superior, and people couldn't be trusted to run their own affairs. So you're right, Alan, that there's always that justification of selling it to themselves that whatever we do, even though it looks like we're being greedy, in fact, we're being morally responsible. So there always has to be that element of justification.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mohammed, do you have any other comments about that? Yazin, go ahead, please. Yeah.
Okay, so talking about religion, actually, I don't think any religion in this world supports killing or supports genocides. All the religion came to just to invite people to peace and to invite them to good manners. And as we see, like the majority of these countries are secular countries. I don't think like Trump believes in something like okay, he's Christian, but on the ground he doesn't. He's not a good Christian, or he doesn't do what Christians do. And like talking about the promised land, actually it's a stupid thing, because like going back to the Balfour Declaration, they used to have like some choices. They were just like besides that, or based on their minds or their preferences, they were choosing what land to steal or what land to occupy. So they had some choices like Madagascar and Argentina, Sinai or Ogun, and they have other countries. So Arthur, what we can like the Arthur Balfour, when promising the Jews this land, they thought how we can make the people believe in this. So they connected these propagandas and these agendas to the religion to make people believe in it. So it's all people on earth, they follow their feelings and their beliefs. So when you come to a person from the concept of his beliefs or his emotions, of course you will have him in your side. So it's not about a promised land. It's like it's nothing. What if they have occupied Argentina, for example? It would be like the promised land, and they will be doing their prayers in Argentina, and they will be believing that it was their land since thousands of years. So actually, it's nothing, and they are just lying and making claims just to keep stealing this land, and it's all political and economy, and it's propaganda. It's international propaganda, and that's the worst part. That during all this, you're making other people who deserve to live, you're making them refugees, you're killing them, and you're making them suffer along the years.
I think over the centuries, there's been a lot of anti-Semitic behavior from Christian countries, especially Middle Europe, and there was a movement in the 19th century. It was headed by a man called Herzl to find a place where the Jews could call it their own, that they weren't displaced and resented in various countries. And then after the Second World War and everything that happened around the concentration camps, I think the British had and others had a bad conscience about the Jews, so they accepted some kind of settlement in Palestine. I don't think at that time, they weren't envisaging that the Jews would take over a country called Israel and rule it. It was meant to be a joint solution, but then the Jews formed terrorist groups, what the British call the Stern Gang, but I think the Palestinians called them something else. And they attacked and killed British soldiers. And I think at that time, the British were wanting to get out of any imperial duties. So they abandoned Palestine, and the Jews came into power by force. And the international community seems to have accepted that arrangement. So it was a time of transition, and as you say, it was one in which the Jews forcibly imposed themselves in the Middle East.
Okay, Mohammed, any final comments before we close today?
Actually, I don't have much to say. I'm really glad to have you and talk about the situation here in Palestine. It really make a difference for me, at least, that the people know the truth that start 100 years ago with Balfour time until now. Inshallah, we will still continuing fighting and talking about Palestine to make all the world know the truth, and who is already know the truth and is still staying in the wrong bloody side, they will someday change their mind, or at least if they didn't change their mind, we will stay in our side fighting for our rights, for our people, and in the end, inshallah, we will win. And I will back to Yibna, my original village, Yibna in Palestine, and Benjamin Netanyahu, he can simply die in his original country, Poland, or his bloody minister in the government who's called Smotrich. He's from Ukraine. He can simply go back to his original country, Ukraine, and find Russia and fight Russia. and just leave our lovely Palestine alone. And the president of Israel is from Poland. He can simply go back to Poland. So everyone, he can go to his original place, city, country, and inshallah this will be soon and will end with a good condition, inshallah. And really, again, thank you all of you, because you are here in this session.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Mohammed. So let's meet again on the 12th of March. In a month's time, 12th of March. Hopefully we'll have good news to talk about at that point. Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Yes, that's okay for me.
Okay, wonderful. See you all in a month's time. Thank you.
Thank you all. See you and goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.